Hello everyone and welcome to another video from Speed Engineering based in Germany. Today we are not at our location, we are at Kotte Performance. Here it's all about power, and that's also the main topic for today, as the Supra will finally get a little bit more power, our 4-cylinder Supra. The rest is completely stock engine wise, so no downpipe, no upgrade turbo, etc. This is what will come later, but first of all I would like to check, is it possible to run more power with the stock engine? I assume it does, because the same engine, the B48 engine, is also, I think, in the Mini GP3. And the Mini GP3 with the same engine is running 370 horsepower. I heard that it's a B turbo in the Mini, I'm not sure, but the base of the engine is the same. So this is what we try. The bottleneck of this car is the following. As you can see here with our OBD tracker, we are tracking wireless some data. One of it is the exhaust temperature. The exhaust temperature is the bottleneck of the car, because we were measuring it with the stock power on the racetrack with, I think it was 960 degree stock power. So I want to know, is it possible to run more power with the stock downpipe, or is it impossible, because maybe we will get more than 1000 or 1100 degrees of exhaust temperature. So in this case we will have to change the downpipe before changing the map. And in the meantime, while he will run now the stock map to have a comparison before and after the mapping, we will show you around and show you what Kotte Performance is about and what kind of project they have here. Because one thing I can tell you for sure, this is the slowest car in this location by far. Okay, first of all, sorry for the poor video and sound quality, as this video was not planned, so we did it a little bit spontaneous, so we just have our little camera. Apologize therefore. And yes, I have another colleague here. You are from Kotte Performance. Hi. Maybe introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is Paul. I work for Kotte Performance.
And yeah, maybe you can tell us what Kotte is about, what you are doing, and maybe we can go through some of your projects. As always when I'm here, there is something new and something interesting. And as mentioned before, the Supra is by far, I think, the slowest car in this building.
Besides apart from the Corrado behind the camera, but yeah. So what we do basically is we take a slow car and we make it less slow. We are specialized in BMW tuning, so turbo systems, engine building, gearbox building, but we are capable and open to all brands, but we have over time specialized in the tuning of BMW, the S55 engine, so in the M2 competition, M3 and M4, and the B58 engine, which is in the 40i model, so 140, 240, etc., etc. Correct. And we are just starting development on the
S58.
S58, which is the new G80 M3 M4 engine. That's basically what we specialize in, what we do mostly.
Perfect. Before we get to the most famous car, I guess, first of all I would like to start with this one, which is not typical for you. And I also just recognized that your English is far better than mine, which is quite good. Good for our viewers. Yeah. So, Mercedes, not typical. Haven't seen anyone here before.
Yeah, in the past, before I used to work here, Manu and my colleague, they did a couple of AMGs. Yeah. So every once in a while, but yeah, sometimes we get a request from long-time customers. Yeah. Bought a Mercedes. So yeah, this is an AMG GTR. Where we've installed upgrade turbos and downpipes. Okay. So it should be pushing around 850 horsepower.
What is the stock power of this car?
Oh, I can't tell you. I don't know.
You don't know? No. Okay. Okay. So new chargers in there?
Chargers? New turbos, catalyst downpipes,
and complete mapping.
Complete custom mapping. There is possibility to do further upgrades on this car, but the customer requested turbos and downpipes, so that's what he gets. If you want, I can open up the hood.
Yeah, sure. This car is very, very interesting in many terms. For example, Okay, now it will get a little bit loud because he's on the dyno. What is very interesting for me is that they are using the air which is coming in, and you have some overpressure before the cooling system, and they are using this vent here to canalize the air and redirect it to the backside and cool down the turbochargers. Very interesting, and you see that there is lots of motorsport technique in this car. And yeah, sorry, it's your turn again.
Yeah, so as you can see, or as you can't see, the car has two upright turbos. That's also one of the things that we are very fond of, is building cars, or fast cars, where you can't see that they're fast. So
yeah, it looks OEM.
Yeah,
right.
OEM plus.
OEM plus.
Yeah.
Friendship plus.
Yes. And that's mostly because, you know, of the law regulations in Germany. Yeah. When we get customers from other countries, so we get customers from the UK, Netherlands, Sweden, Norway, that come here specifically to get their cars done. It's not as important to hide the tuning, but for German customers, we make sure that you can't see that we've been working on the cars.
Yeah. Okay. The next one, I think you haven't worked on this one.
No, this is just.
So it will come.
It's just software.
Just software. Okay.
Yeah.
This is one of your own cars. It's not a typical R8 as you know it, but I think it's a supercharged one, right?
Yeah, the twin turbo.
Twin turbo.
Twin turbo. Yeah. If you look closely through the vents,
yeah, maybe you can feel it here.
You can see two big air filters, one on each side, and this car is running a twin turbo kit.
Okay, come on. The twin turbo kit. So you have built this car in cooperation with
MTR.
MTR.
Yes.
MTR. So what power are you running now?
The car runs 850 on its TÜV map. So we have developed, or the car has been developed to be road legal. Fully road legal. It has mufflers, catalytic converters, everything you require in Germany to run the car legally. Okay. And it has a race map which runs around 1250 horsepower, where the car will do a 2.9 100 to 200 kilometers an hour.
Okay, so you have some kind of map switch.
Yes, there is a map switch.
Nice. Okay, so 850 daily, and
yeah,
if you go crazy, you have 1250 roundabout.
Yeah, race map is for track use only.
Track use only.
Yeah, because it's not road legal anymore, and the car is road legal with the 850 horsepower. That's where it meets all the criteria it needs.
And the next one is very familiar to me. It's an M4 GT4. We also had this car in our race team. We were running it on racetracks. And what did you do for this guy?
This customer came to us and asked for custom mapping. He's running our track turbo system, which he installed himself.
Okay. The S55 track turbo upgrades?
Yeah, S55 track turbo upgrades, Wagner intercooler, Wagner charge pipes.
Which are also available here. So if you're interested in upgrade turbos, you can buy them, right?
Upgrade turbos and Wagner products.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So this car came to us with mapping. We did not build this car, and we do not build race cars.
But you do the power.
We do the power. We do the software. Yeah.
Okay. The next one, I think this is not interesting because there's nothing under the hood.
No engine in the car.
This is your baby.
Yeah, this is my personal car.
M3F80?
Yes, M3
What's
competition.
happening here? It's a competition.
Yes, competition.
Okay. Yeah, the carbon roof and...
Yeah, you can see competition on the black side markers.
Yeah.
Black exhaust tips if they're OEM.
Yeah.
Holes in the seat, and stock they have the M666 wheel.
Yeah.
And burbles.
Okay.
Which only the competitions usually have, but which can nowadays all be modified.
So let me guess, the power is not stock?
No, it may look stock.
Yeah, it does.
Which is the point of the car, to look as stock as possible.
Yeah.
But the car is running somewhere between 900 to 1000 horsepower.
Really?
Yeah.
Daily? You're using it daily?
Sometimes, yes. I don't, not as much anymore, because the weather's getting worse now, but I try to take it out as much as possible.
Cool.
I have map switch in the car, so I run a daily map of 580 horsepower. Okay. And on pump gas or 102 octane, I can run up to 880, close to 900 horsepower. And then if I add my water meth injection and or bioethanol in the fuel, I can run close to 1,000 horsepower. The turbos are rated for 1,000 plus horsepower, but we're still working on the mapping, and I'm currently having some clutch issues because I burned through a clutch. Okay. The car has around 1,200 Newton meters of torque, so
1,200. Yeah. Nice. Okay, I think we will make a very short cut here because I assume that the sound will be the quality will be very poor when he's running dyno pulls. So we'll make a short cut, and then we'll continue to the most powerful car in this room, and I think the most famous one. And I would say, see you in a couple of seconds. Okay, so we have a very short time before he starts the next dyno run. Tell us a little something about this quite famous car. I think it's the fastest S55 in the world.
I would think to say so, but you never know. There's always someone faster.
Okay.
And that's a bold claim. But yeah, it's one of the fastest S55 in the world.
Yeah.
Street driven.
Yeah.
This car is running our biggest turbo system that we install on the S55. So it's a twin G25 frameless Garrett kit. So it's two frameless Garrett turbos, with two G25 Garrett turbos, with custom manifolds, custom downpipes, custom exhaust system. So this kit is no longer based on the stock hyper turbo system. It's a full custom kit with our built gearbox or built clutch. The gearbox stays stock. Built engine, built head, shrink cams. So this basically has the works.
It's the full package.
Full package. This is the biggest upgrade system you can buy from us.
Okay.
And it produces around 1,250, 1,280 horsepower. And rear wheel drive. The car has boost by gear, which means that the further you go up in the gears, the more boost you have.
Okay.
So, which makes it quite easy to drive.
Yeah.
I say, for an experienced driver, because you don't really have wheel spin.
Yeah.
The car just gets very fast, very quickly.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does quickly mean?
On a half mile, or standing half mile, the car will do 300 plus kilometers an hour. And it will run sub 4 seconds, 100 to 200, and I think sub 6 seconds, 200 to 300 kilometers an hour.
Wow.
Which, in comparison, is faster than a Bugatti Veyron, is faster than the Bugatti Chiron, and faster than most road cars you can buy. So any Ferrari, Porsche, which is stock, any Lambo, which is stock, this car will eliminate.
I think this will be the thumbnail. We will put a picture of this, faster than the Bugatti. That's the headline, I would say. And while you were talking, the thing is, before I said that we weren't prepared for this video, means that we don't have enough equipment. I would suggest to do a single video, first of all of this car, where you explain something in detail, and show your turbo kits. Yeah. Do you have a kit to show?
We don't have the turbos. We have parts of a kit.
Yeah.
Because we have one kit in stock.
Yeah.
Which I'd have to scramble together.
Yeah. But I also saw that you have an engine already there.
We have a B58 engine. We don't have an assembled S55 standing around at the moment, I think, and we have an B58 engine. We have a couple of ready
which is also interesting.
Yeah.
So I would say in another episode we will talk about the B58 engine. We will talk about some kits, and you can show us in detail, because as you just mentioned, you can't see anything. Yeah, you're just talking about the power, but I think the people are very interested in the details. How does the turbo look like? How do the manifold look like? And
even if you try, if I take off the engine cover, there's nothing really you can see. You can see some modified charge pipes here, the intake system.
The intake system and the intercooler.
The big Wagner intercooler, and that's it. That's pretty much it.
So if you would have also here covers, it would really look like OEM.
Pretty much, if you find someone who doesn't know a lot about cars and they look at this,
like them, police.
For them this would be a stock car. With this one, it's not important because the customer is from Italy. And the regulations in Italy are not as strict as they are in Germany.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. So I would say we will jump after that to the Supra to see what's the final result. And yeah, after that, as mentioned, we will come back next week and make a detailed video of this car. Intakes.
Yeah, this car is also running, I think, one of the first versions of the intakes.
Yeah, that's true.
I think this was the car that you developed it on, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. Good that you mention it.
And as well the mirror caps, which we have floating around here as well.
Definitely. We can show the mirror caps next time, and good that you're mentioning it. This is the car, maybe you know from our shop, for the M2 competition, for the S55 engine, only for the M2 competition, because in the M3 it doesn't matter. The issue with this car is that the intake, the intake system is right behind the headlights, and it's completely closed, so you don't have any fresh air. So what we did is we have developed some intake kits to have a ram air effect for the cooler intake, air intake. And why does BMW do this? I think it's due to the emissions and sound, the intake sound.
Intake sound, yeah, intake sound I think is also a big part. Emissions, as you said, and to keep the horsepower. Because by regulation you are only allowed by 7% to vary in the stock horsepower, and if the car gets too much air, it will make too much horsepower even on the stock map. Yeah. And BMWs usually have a little more than they should. And I think with this they regulate to keep it down. Yeah, like in the rally where you have a very restricted inlet. I think they restrict the airflow so that the car doesn't make too much power.
Yes. And it was a job from Kotte Performance, and they said we want to get rid of this bottleneck. We need more air, we need cooler air. We don't care about the intake noise, which no one does, to be honest. Everyone loves intake noise. Yeah. And therefore we developed them. They are now available in our shop, and these are the very first prototypes. So it's a prototype on a quite famous car. Thanks for the hint. And as mentioned, we will skip now to the Supra and see you next time.
Probably, yes.
Thanks a lot.
No worries.
So, hello again. It was just a few seconds for you, but in the meantime, in reality, 2 days remained because we had to split this video, and now we will continue and test the Supra. In the meantime, it was on the dyno, and Kotte worked on it, and this is now the first test. Sorry for the missing structure of this video. I'll let him pass now. Sorry for the missing structure of the video, and it was not planned like this. After the test, we will take a look at the results. I think the car has now around about, which I heard, 500 Newton meters, but which is the most important for me for this car is now that it doesn't have a turbo punch, because this is something I don't need for the racetrack. It has to drive like a natural aspirated car. What I saw from the previous measurements before the mapping is that after around about 5,000 or 5,500 RPM, the Newton meter and the power was dropping. And this is something which I don't need on the racetrack neither. So this is now the first test. And just as a reminder, everything engine wise on this car is still stock. Finally, this little car has some power. It's not a lot. I mean, the difference is there, but the huge difference is that nothing is happening between 5,000 RPM until the end, till 7,000. It's so constantly going, so it really feels like a natural aspirated car, and that's perfect for me. To be honest, I don't really need more horsepower. I think it now has round about the power of a 3-liter Supra. Combined with the less weight on the front axle, it's a weapon now. We will make another pull. Just need to turn here. Okay. Constant limiter until I think 6,900 RPM or something like that. Until then, you don't recognize any difference of the power. And I hope that we will see this on the paper now. And yeah, we will return to Kotte and ask for the papers and see if this is what we're feeling right now, if it's reality, measured values, or if it's just a placebo, just because I'm very hyped right now. Okay, we're back. I have the results, and Paul, he could explain what we see right here. First of all, before I take a look at the results, what I feel is that the car has constant power, like until almost 7,000 RPM. Mm-hmm. And maybe you can explain to us what we see right now. What was the power before and what was it afterwards?
So these are the two diagrams. Here you can see what the car started with. So that's an engine power of 287 horsepower with wheel horsepower of about 209, and the car currently sits at 325 horsepower at the engine or at the crank, and 249 wheel horsepower. And you always have to consider this is day horsepower or the power of the day, because things like power, they vary with temperature, air pressure, the fuel you put in the car, and all those sorts of things. But on the day that we measured the car, this is the power that it had.
So the comparison is correct, so they are comparable.
Yes.
The values.
Yeah.
Okay. Because it's a little bit higher than the car should have stock-wise, but I think there is always a correction value or something like that. But it doesn't matter for the comparison. That's the value which counts for me now.
Yeah. We start the car with when you bring it to us, so fully stock. Correct. We put it on the dyno. We measure the horsepower that it has.
We mapped it.
Stock, and then after mapping and what you see on this diagram is stock compared to the final variation or what you actually take home.
Correct. And Kotte also told me that those peaks are just due to the dyno, because you had to measure it as all-wheel drive. Right?
Yeah, the thing or what we've noticed with the B58 and the B58 TU engine or these cars is that usually when you some of them, when you measure them on rear only, they tend to not like that very much. Yeah. So we measure them on rear, and then as a comparison we put them on all-wheel drive as well, just to more simulate the road. Correct. And get more accurate results.
Correct. Yes, at the end I also have to tell that we are not able to compare the exhaust temperature, because in fact that on the dyno we couldn't reach the peak as we did on the racetrack, and we also can't do it on the road right now because it's a legal road. Yeah. Therefore we have to test it afterwards now on the racetrack again, and then we will compare it again if the exhaust temperature really is that high, and if this is really the next bottleneck of the car. But all in all, I'm very, very, very happy with the result. It feels great, and you see that it's very constant, and that I have torque like from 2,000 RPM until 6.5.
Yeah, 6.5.
Yeah, it feels really, really awesome. Good job. Thanks a lot.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah, and we spontaneously decided, because you're very good in front of the camera, your English is perfect, and you have lots of know-how, that we will do now 2 or 3 more videos where you explain engine-wise, the technique, all the turbos, what you need for the higher power of the B58, of the S58.
Yes.
And maybe S55. Yeah, we will see. Yeah. So stay tuned, and you will see this nice guy in the next videos. Bye.